pick something.
All right, well, we're going to open the meeting at 7:05. We have, well, lots of connection. Carl, remote.
I don't know what, he's there.
That's all we have tuned in.
Just a picture.
What's the address?
All right, what do we got? Administrative, can we go to that?
Why don't you read the meeting date, and then we'll introduce the meeting of the Monday.
This is the meeting of March 24th. We are opening the meeting at 7:06. We have Carl remote, Emilio.
Mike Amanda,
Susan Cahalan, junior member.
And I am Emily Petro, the conservation agent for the town of Mendon. So, we do have one administrative item on the agenda. It's in reference to a project. It was permitted at 47 Milford Street under DEP file number 2180812. It's a minor plan change where they're reducing actually pavement and fill that initially was proposed in a gravel pad that was adjacent to the 25-foot no disturb and 50-foot no build within the wetland setbacks. I reviewed their proposal and I thought that what they were proposing was actually less impactful than what they initially proposed. So I thought it was a pretty minor change and I had no comments on it.
okay. I think that's fine, Mr. Chairman. So we don't have to vote on it or anything?
No, it's just administrative minor plan change.
We don't have meeting minutes to vote on, correct? Okay.
I don't know if we want to, Ernie Horn is here for 106 Millville. He's the counsel for the abutting property, or no, for 106 Millville.
106.
Yeah.
That's my client.
Yeah, so he's,
It's short and quick.
yeah, if you want to give us an update on that,
Sure.
you can come have a seat.
Yep.
And I'm
Good evening. I'm corporate counsel for the owner of that property. So where we're at right now is we're still trying to secure an engineer to do the work. Anyone that knows how the boom is going right now, it's really hard to get an engineer and tie him down.
right.
Spoke to Allen Engineering. They said that 3 months out anyways. Spoke to Shea Engineering. He's going to give me an answer tomorrow. He's not even sure if he can take it. So we're really trying on that. But in the meantime, we would like permission to bring in more silt fencing and
Filter mitt,
the hay,
hay bales.
the wattles or something.
Yeah, all
I didn't want to say that in case I was
Going
wrong. So
through
we're
all
looking to bring in more wattles and silt screening and put that in place because we now know it's going to take a little while to get an engineer there. So we've had, wetlands have already been documented. He's already been in there, the gentleman that did that. So we'd like to, if it's okay, get some more wattles in there and some silt fencing just to shore everything up until we can get an engineer in there.
Do you have the company that did the wetland delineation? Do you have a report from them or
I'll reach out to him. Scott?
Goddard?
Yeah, I'll reach out to him and see if I can get one.
Okay,
All right, and I'll send that to you?
That sounds
Or
good.
have him contact you directly?
yes, either one is
Okay.
fine.
Any questions?
No, as it stands right now, the slope is fairly stabilized.
It is, but certainly if we get some heavy rain, you're gonna get some more runoff, so we want to kind of get ahead of it so that we don't have a problem. But yeah, it's definitely stable, but certainly my client's not doing anything with it. But yeah, it's relatively stable, but I think you can still get a little bit of runoff.
Okay, I don't have a problem with them adding more
Or, yeah.
siltation
So
protection.
Cautionary and fine with that.
Carl, do you have any comments over there in the virtual world?
No, my question would be is there any value in like trying to put a blue tarp over this slope? Or is that too large an area for it to be effective?
Sure, it's actually a very good question, and we did put some tarps over it in the wintertime, and for the most part, they just blew right off, and it is a very, very large area as far as a blue tarp would go, but we did try. We think at this point, the best thing to do is just get those wattles and more silt fencing up there for now. Mr. Tenio, just trying to give you a quick update. I'm sure you're in the business, you know. We're trying to secure an engineer is very difficult right now. Allen Engineering told us 3 more months. Shea Engineering is going to try to give me an answer tomorrow. He's not even sure if he can put it in the next 3 months. So what we asked for today was to put more wattles and silt screening up there to protect that area. But the slope is, I would describe it as stable. You're still going to get,
Oh, it's bad. It's eroded. The erosion's,
yeah, you're still going to get some runoff.
you got
A V.
Please.
A V, yeah.
yeah, I mean, the damage is already done, I think, a lot of it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it seems like it's been a long time. I mean, there's a lot of engineers out there.
If you know one that's available, tell me, we'll hire him on the
I
spot.
mean, there's Gary Air, there's Andrews,
We reached out to Gary Air, and they didn't even call us back.
really. Andrews, you tried.
Andrews, I haven't, I'll
Yeah,
try.
they're in
Andrews.
Uxbridge. They have
Yeah,
a new-
Oh, yeah, I know 'em.
they were recently bought out by somebody else, so they might have a little bit more
I'll
of
call-
a,
I'll
it's
call
worth
them.
a shot.
Yeah, I'll call him first thing tomorrow morning.
I mean, the structural engineer, I think, is somebody that needs, something that needs to happen to figure out, well, if you're gonna, what are you gonna build, a wall there? Are you gonna remove the material?
I think my client's position is to sit tight until an expert goes in there and
Right,
gives some
figure out what
recommendations.
The best
Yeah,
game plan is, what
Yeah.
the options are.
yeah. I think
What I'd
that's
like
the-
to do is, his client would like to add some more silt fence and wattles to the base of the slope.
Okay.
Someone has suggested maybe putting some tops on the slope to deflect the rainwater.
Can't you do spray instant
Hydro-
mulch, hydro seed kind of?
Hydro-seeded or something?
I mean, something to stabilize it, I mean.
Well, we
I
could
don't
look
think
at the
tops are
hydro
gonna
seed
work.
as long
Stuff
as,
sticks to, I
as
mean,
long
it's
as
not
you're okay
permanent,
with
right?
it. It's clay, so let's face it, clay will grow anything.
Well, I mean, I think
grass-wise.
we could probably get, they could probably get something to stick there,
Yeah,
at least to stabilize it.
yeah.
Some quick growing seed that,
So some hydro seed,
Maybe use like a field mixer, what do they call that?
I'll call Bruce Roy,
Yeah, you know what, he'll have.
He'll know
there's a-
what to do.
You know, something that's got a little strong.
Here's the way we can word this, that we approve him putting up siltation barriers, and we also approve any plan that will stabilize the slope.
Right.
yeah.
But there's not to be any more structural or anything until we get the engineer.
No digging,
Agreed. Oh,
Yeah.
God, no.
no machines there at all.
No. Well, just whatever they need for hydro seeding.
Well, yeah.
I think that's
mean,
just
that's
that
just
big.
a truck, and he can
Yeah,
probably do it
space.
from the
Yeah.
top.
No fill coming in, no,
No excavators, no
tractors,
skid steers, no
yeah, nothing.
No heavy equipment whatsoever on the property until we get something fixed.
Understood.
Does that sound?
And Emily, if you can reach out to the abutters and let them know that we are meeting this week, and that's what we've agreed for him to be able to do.
Yeah, of course. Yep.
Anything else, ladies and gentlemen?
I think,
No, I think.
I guess the hydro seed, I guess this time of the year, you probably
That
can get
sounds like,
something.
I
get
think that
something
sounds
to
like
take
a
pretty
good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Within the next
That'll
within the
grow
next
in
couple
clay
of weeks, I
fine,
think
it'll hold it
take.
nice.
yeah,
Okay.
give Andrews a call, maybe they can help you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Good luck, everyone. Just gotta say hi to the neighbor.
This is Muddy Brook Estates coming up hot, coming in.
Bob, you're up.
Read anything? Read anything to make it official, or you just want me to start?
Yeah, I think,
I
well,
guess-
I can read this for you. We got a Notice of intent. No no number yet?
No number, I checked this morning.
I actually talked to Gary Domain this week, but he didn't, so he's looked at it. but
I checked this morning, it wasn't there.
checked it.
Yeah.
All right, so Gary and Hal, not representing DNF Alfonso Builders, proposed alteration of an isolated vegetated wetland containing potential vernal pool habitat for the construction of a stormwater management system to capture and infiltrate runoff from an 8-lot subdivision.
Okay, so what we have here is we have this piece of property off of Daniels Road. Daniels Road is here, and we have a 50-foot wide access.
Can you use the mic?
Is it on?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, here now?
Yeah.
Well, look at that.
So what we have here is a piece of property off of Daniels Road on the westerly side of Daniels Road. It has a 50-foot access that was left when Daniels Road was developed, the subdivision developed. And the parcel is a 30-plus acre piece of property with the property line of a muddy brook, which is right here. And then there's this long finger that comes up over in here, and it abuts the town-owned property up here, the town amended property here. What we propose is an open space development, which will create 21 acres of open space, which is wetlands. So it's 38% is wetlands, 68% will be open space of the property, total project. And we're gonna bring in a road of 500-foot cul-de-sac. Bring in a cul-de-sac with, it's actually 950 feet with 8 lots. So most of the work, so that's the overview. Let me get, I'll fine tune this stuff.
Pull that table over.
So this is the site. This line here is the riverfront, the river, Muddy Brook. Then we have the wetlands line is this green line right here, this light green line that you see here. These numbers and these blue dots. This is all the wetland on site. And you can see that we're pretty far away from any wetland disturbance. There is a riverfront, 100 and 200-foot riverfront, which we're not altering at all. There is a natural heritage endangered species line, estimated habitat line, which is right here, which is not being impacted at all, except for maybe a little bit of this swale. We filed with Natural Heritage for a MESA permit. So the proposal, because of the way the site is slopes, it slopes heavily from east to west towards the river, towards the brook, I should say. I don't want to call it a river. And the road cuts the parcel in the middle. So the road is high. The property is high on this side of the road, but the road is above the plots on this side. So in order to make the drainage work for these lots, instead of bringing in a lot of fill and having to pick the houses up, we're going to propose a drainage swale, an open channel swale along the back of this lot to go right into the detention basin. Now, there is an isolated wetland here on the property, which is, if you look at the topography, it falls right in the middle of it's a swale that funnels all this runoff through this area here. And we're proposing to use this area for the detention basin and to intercept the drainage. It's a perfect spot for it. It's not connected. It doesn't meet the criteria for isolated land subject to flooding. And we did 2 test pits in the bottom of in the proposed basin area, just off maybe 5 feet off the edge of the flagged wetlands.
Oh.
It went down 100 inches before we found any wetlands, before we found any groundwater. So this is the buffer. This is the 100-foot buffer. This is the 50-foot no build, and this is the 25-foot no disturb. So basically, the only work we're proposing in the buffer is the construction of the detention basin, and none of the development of any lots will be, disturb any buffer zone or any wetland resource area at all. So I think the biggest obstacle is the isolated wetland here. It's like 4,800 square feet of wetland. It's an isolated wetland, and it doesn't hold enough water to be isolated, subject to flooding. We're proposing to fill that as part of this project.
You're gonna fill that and make that a drainage basin?
Yes, make that a drainage basin.
Well, it's not allowed according to our bylaw. I don't know if you read the bylaw. And your wetlands consultants indicated that it has the potential to be a vernal pool, which alteration of a vernal pool is not allowed under the Mendon Wetlands Protection Bylaw. So I don't
But
know.
it's not a vernal pool as of yet, so.
Well, it has the potential to be one indicated by your wetlands consultants, so I was wondering if you could provide information to the commission that indicates otherwise.
Yes, well, I assume that as part of this process, the commission was going to schedule a site walk with some.
No, it has to go actually beyond a site walk. It would be in the form of a wildlife habitat evaluation that would be paid for by your client.
It's not a problem.
Okay, then we'll just have to have evidence that it's not a vernal pool.
Okay.
So,
What area is that?
Right here.
Okay. We've got it marked in orange here. Yeah.
Why couldn't that whole drainage swale be shifted down slope 25 feet at the beginning and maybe more, I'm not quite sure the scale here, 30 feet, so bring everything down a little bit so that you wouldn't have to convert the wetland into a detention pond, but you could
Would that
add on
knock
to it.
out one of the buildable lots?
No, I think, well, it would impact the open space.
Talking this swale, yeah.
It would impact
Yeah.
the open space more.
Yeah,
We'd
all
have
the
to-
houses are
Yeah.
uphill, so it's all in their backyard. It's just closer to the wetland, but, that,
Carl, he's
I-
talking about the swale at the back end of the lot.
the downside swale. If you shifted it down,
Well,
you
it's
keep
ju-
the existing swale where it is, but shift the detention pond, split it, or build it around the existing wetland?
Well, I wouldn't do that, but I'd have to build it over here. It'd have to be on, after the wetland. The wetland would have to be freestanding.
I'd rather see it in the buffer of an existing wetland than wiping out an existing quote-unquote non-protectable wetland or subject to determination.
well, it's protected under our bylaw, so.
All right, well, if we don't even touch the vernal pool, then we don't have to worry about the bylaw, right?
Well, right, why couldn't we redesign the
If you went
system?
into move the
If
drainage,
I move
Yeah,
the.
if you shift it into the buffer.
using that land, which was going for open space,
Yep.
would that bring you under your percentage for open space?
No, it's still open space.
But you
The
could-
basin was in the open space anyway, so it's still open space. It's still,
Okay,
it
you
doesn't
can
affect the
still,
open space.
oh, that basin would be in the open
Yeah,
space too?
yes, so it doesn't affect the open space calculations at all.
I just imagine it's a little harder to build or something, or you gotta redesign it, or I
Well,
don't know.
eliminate the problem that you're gonna have with getting guarded or somebody, the argument that there's gonna be about a vernal pool.
Right, and so I'm trying to avoid
Right,
that
right,
by
that's what-
shifting the detention pond.
Well, originally, I'll tell you what happened. My original habitat line that I had gotten off of a different map it ran right along the base of this wall here, and it stayed along the wall, and it came up in this way here, up in here. So it didn't appear that I had enough room to build a basin and not not
For the
impact the
endangered
habitat.
species, whatever
But now,
it is.
now it's moved down here, so it's way down here, and it's within the wetland, so I have more room.
Huh.
That was just determined the early part of this week when
So that line got shifted rather than like going by stone wall, it went like 200
Yeah,
feet buffer? or
Yeah,
kinda-
no, so what happened was, Natural Heritage said that they commented that we didn't have the proper line because we didn't have the most recent atlas. So they suggested we use this Atlas 15, and we did it, and the line moved to way down here. as
So it
opposed to
benefits
being up
you.
here. So it's actually, there's less impact, you know, so I have more room that I could move the basin. But I didn't know that until Monday of this week, so. So I can look at,
Well, I think it's going to be a big issue, so if you can avoid it at all.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Is that an existing stone wall there?
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And that's an opening in it right here? Is there a cart path?
There is a path right
Leading
here.
to that
See it right
opening?
here? There's a path right here that comes down from the,
Oh, yeah, okay, I see it.
Yeah, now looking closer, I'd rather not impact the stone wall, so keep the channel where you got it, but rather than kind of
yeah, I can make it,
going up,
yeah, it can
go
go, it can go
down
around the wetland.
further along a little bit for you.
Yeah, no, I can do that.
Well, then, will it go into the riverfront area?
No, it won't go into the riverfront area. The
Where's,
riverfront, the
show me
riverfront area
the,
is right
the
here.
line?
There's a
Okay.
riverfront area right there. There's the 200-foot.
Yeah, you got
The
plenty.
wetlands is, it will impact the wetlands before it impacts anything else.
It might get into the 100-foot buffer, right? But
Okay, get into the
that's a
100-foot buffer, it
trade-off.
might get into the, you know, it might get into, you know, 25-foot no 50-foot no build, but
There's-
it still should make it, I still think it should make it work.
It pushes it out this way.
Yes.
Pushes it up along the slope, or,
Well,
Yeah.
and away,
yep.
so this line gets shortened,
I mean, we don't have a file number yet
That's-
anyway,
that's
so they're
good.
not gonna close the hearing, so.
and it's gonna be dispersed here.
Yep.
So he could push it up this way to get away from that.
What Mike is suggesting,
Yeah, I could move it up the hill this way. Yeah, if you put it in here, I could move it up the slope. So, yeah, no, I think, yeah.
And Daniels Road, is this in Mendon, is this in Hopedale?
It's in Mendon.
And so where's George Street, or the intersection with George Street and Daniels? Does that come
It's
close?
the intersection of
They don't
Neck Hill Road
intersect.
and Daniels.
George Street and Daniels doesn't intersect. Neck Hill and
You
Daniels.
go by your house and you go up the hill, so it's right up on the
You
right.
gotta go up Neck Hill,
Yeah, okay.
and then you go past, what's that one on the right, on the left? It's the first street on the left. It's a loop road.
Daniels is a loop road,
Yeah,
correct?
it's a loop road.
And what's this, right away or something?
That's the gas easement,
The gas easement, okay, there's the gas.
Tennessee Gas. Remember years ago?
Okay, so maybe north is like this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
The north is, here's the north tower right here.
gotcha.
So, you're looking east when you look up the page.
I was able to drive that. I drove that, checking
Oh, the pipeline?
the pipeline when they come through and upgraded it.
So, well, I think it's worthy of a site visit, right?
Oh,
Yep.
absolutely.
And the weather's getting better.
Yeah, see, this is,
And I
You wanna wait till, you wanna put something together where you propose to put that drainage?
Yeah, to revise it first.
And then we can schedule a site walk after you figure out where you're gonna, that way there we can.
Sure, we
kinda-
can see it, just take it out and see it.
Yeah, that might not be a bad idea, at least everybody can see that's concerned.
Right,
Yeah.
sure.
Okay. Anybody else on the board have any questions before I turn over to the audience?
No, you can, we'll jump in when, I'm still deciphering the plan.
Okay.
So this is the wetland line.
Just state your name and your address when you come.
This is also wet.
yes, my name is
The stream buffer.
Right, but these,
Daniels Road. I am in a butter, and I have been involved in this project for almost 7 years.
Okay.
My one question, can I go forward to see where they're talking about?
Yep.
Thank you. I just, Bob, I just have that map you passed
Yep.
out the last meeting. Where are you proposing to put this?
Put what?
The conduit with the
Oh, right down here, the bottom of the, right down at the end here.
I don't know, I haven't seen it. I know it's a 40-page application you applied
So it's
for.
right here.
Okay, so it's at the bottom of
It's
the
at
street?
the end of the road.
Okay,
Right down the bottom of the hill, and where it flattens out.
and the brook is where?
Brook is here.
So the brook goes,
Brook runs from this way to this way, and down, and,
and geographically, how big is the pond?
oh, it's not very big, it's about,
And what's going to flow into it?
just the drainage from the street, from the development.
It's basically a settling basin
It's
that
a collective,
when it rains,
Okay,
water goes.
but I read in the report the other day that there's a pipe. What's the pipe that's gonna go
The
in?
pipe is bringing the catch basin water that's hitting the street, goes into the catch basin, goes into a pipe, goes into that settling
There,
basin.
right there.
Sits for a while,
That's
and
the
then
pipe.
there'll be another pipe going all the
Out.
way out, so
Drains.
follow your finger to bingo, right there.
Going to where?
Discharging
into the stream, but
towards the stream, just discharges towards the stream.
Is that the brook? The Muddy Brook?
Yes. It discharges into the wetlands that are adjacent to Muddy Brook,
So
so.
the wetlands
All
go,
the-
I'm just getting an education thing.
Yeah.
So the wetlands go from where to where in our geographic? Just,
This is all wetlands here, and all down in here.
okay. So question, just a quick question going back to our last planning board meeting. Talking about conservation land, probably the town owns, is that part of all this? Because this is a different map than I've ever seen.
That,
Well, it's the same
the
map,
open
it's the
space is
same.
gonna be given to the town when the
Right.
subdivision is done.
But is this all part of it?
Yes,
So we're talking about conservation trails, maybe? Is it going to be into the wetlands? Now that I'm seeing
There's not
this.
gonna be- Nothing's gonna be done to it, like, they won't go in there and make bike paths with asphalt trails.
Right,
you
but
know.
walking paths?
Oh, yeah, you know, if somebody wants, you guys, if you want to go walk your dogs in there, it's town-owned land.
There's no plans yet for walking trails. That would be for somebody to
House
plan
scouts
and
or
then
anything
come
like
to
that,
us
wanted
and
to do
say,
something down the road. But I mean, if you wanted to go walk through the woods, it's town-owned property, so it's there for you to use.
So it brings me into an education for all of us in the room. So with the wetlands, are you going to be walking all wetlands or?
Well, if you want to get wet.
and wetlands aren't necessarily wet all the time.
Okay.
It's, you know, it's just some,
Depends on the time of the year.
it's delineated by vegetation, so a lot of times it's just, there could be a lot of blueberry bushes or sweet pepper bush or whatever the vegetation is that qualifies as being a wetland, but it may never be wet. It may never be wet enough that you can't walk on it.
Okay, so I'm going to back up because I don't want to take up more of your time. But the ponding area, like physically, how big? Is it like a very small pond or a pool?
Just make it when it rains, the water goes in there.
See, this is probably,
It's 4,800 square feet.
So basically the same size as that isolated wetland then.
40 by 100.
Okay.
40 by 100.
So, because you're Conservation Commission, can animals go there to drink?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not designed to be water, have to hold water at all the time. It's designed to empty between
Go in
storms.
and go out,
Correct.
Right.
so I understand it.
The
Because,
purpose of the basin is so that when there's a big storm and we're getting an inch an hour, we don't want an inch an hour of rain from all of the asphalt going right into the river. So instead, it parks itself in the storm basin and settles, and then very slowly moves out of the storm basin into the river in a controlled fashion. That way you don't flood the river.
okay, because all of this back here, I'm sure you guys all know this, and my neighbors know it, wildlife, in the summertime, at night, there can be 50 coyotes back there. Our neighbors hear them in the middle of the night, and I'm serious.
I live on that.
Okay? They don't come up, I've never seen them on my property, I live up in this area, on Daniels Road, never seen them. But I've seen fox up here, deer up here, all kinds of wildlife. So, kind of conservation, you know, the concern about what happens with protection of them with the Muddy Brook and what's gonna go on from then on. And let's take it a little bit bigger. I know on the other side, this one probably sold, it was originally 70-something acres. And now we're talking about affordable housing maybe going in behind the highway department and the senior center. So there's, things gonna change in this area. And then if you're gonna be walking past people. So that's when I'm just trying to get a bigger picture so that we all know together. And on Daniels Road, we've had issues. Our road is totally depleted. Yesterday, we had a cable company come because we've springs across the street from my house. Water springs, water runs down the middle of the road, ice ponding. The town came in last year and had to rebuild a sidewalk. It's a mess. So then I stand here and I say, okay, this is gonna run downhill, right? Right, Bob?
Yes.
Okay, so then what about the water in this whole area? Have you guys discussed this?
This is why, this is why we have to,
Okay.
the planning
Town
board
engineer,
was-
the planning board has already went through all the stormwater management, and
Okay.
and has, any concerns that he had, Mr. Poxton has addressed them, and planning board has approved it.
Because with 8 houses, wells have to be built,
Correct.
okay, sewage, all that. So, I mean, I've been at all these meetings, so I
Right.
understand what you're talking about. But then again, you take it bigger, and that's when I'm looking at the Pontiac, you know, everything needs to be considered, you guys know that. I mean, we're all concerned about living here in Mendon, I'm concerned with paying my taxes. But I just want to make sure that you guys agree that this is the right thing to do, to put this development in, because it's challenging.
Well,
That's not the role of the Conservation Commission.
It's not?
The
the state guidelines.
Conservation Commission is responsible for ensuring that we protect the wetlands,
Yes?
and we have a secondary role of being responsible for oversight of the open space areas.
Right, I agree with what you're saying, and that's all our agreement. We all want to move this community forward so that we're all protected and make sure that we're doing the right
So
thing.
how do you say no to a developer who's got enough land and frontage and is gonna build a road to specs?
I'm not saying no, I'm
Well, you're
just
saying-
paying attention. to
You're
what we're
saying-
doing.
She's asking, because I understand your concern.
Right,
Because I believe over to the left, that green line, all that area there, isn't that the land
This is-
that they're looking to put,
yeah, all of
the
this,
town
all this all in
is-
here.
affordable housing.
affordable housing?
Not in the wetlands,
So-
it'll be up on the higher
Up on the higher
side.
It'll be on the other side, I'm not even addressing
And
that.
we don't even know if that's gonna happen.
Right, but I'm just saying, but as we all look at the whole acreage, 70-plus acres, which it originally was, we want to make sure we put the right developments in where they need to.
Absolutely.
I have a question. How do we not know, I mean, sure, it's been reviewed by the stormwater engineer of the planning board, but aren't there other considerations to take into consideration the impacts that any stormwater runoff would have on the wetlands? Okay, they provide treatment, but do we know? Does the Conservation Commission have enough information about stormwater? I mean, it's a huge wetland complex. There's endangered species habitat. So how do we know that they don't put this road in and there aren't other impacts that aren't being made clear to the commission? I'm just asking.
Well, it's assumed that if they do standard best management practices, and then there's going to be X amount of sediment, that's the only thing that they really measure. We're not focused on phosphorus or nutrients, probably could be, should be, but haven't gotten there yet. If there was a special resource, maybe, if there was a...
Well, if they follow the guidelines that the state set forth.
Which the
and-
engineer should be reviewing, right? And that's the planning
and it
board.
meets-
Yes, which
and
he
it-
did.
And it meets the guidelines set forth by the state and in the act, then,
I mean, that's basically what the
I mean,
stormwater
I don't know,
management
what are you
was.
saying? Should we be questioning our own laws?
No, I'm asking if there needs to be another level of review and consideration of the wetlands that are on site in terms of the stormwater management.
Well, I think that would be encompassed if he
Okay.
follows the procedure correctly.
Okay,
I think
that's
the
fine.
storm, that Jeff from Graves Engineering is pretty thorough engineer, and I trust
I
his
don't have a
judgment.
problem as much with this one as I do with the other one, which is off of Hartford Avenue, which is a 8-lot cul-de-sac, but with LID and smaller lots and more impacts, because I was getting into like wildlife, the light. And that's not, normal. The planning board doesn't concern themselves with light. I was told that wasn't
With lights from where?
a street light, so that traffic could be
don't have
improved. And I didn't,
Well-
right, but,
Yeah.
but there is
Let's concentrate
subdivisions.
on this one here, though, let's concentrate on
agree.
this one.
My-
I have a rookie question. We said
So
that
let me just say that,
if they're following the guidelines, who ensures that they are following? Do we just good faith, or is
Well,
there
the
somebody from?
the planning board's engineer, town engineer, was back and forth with Bob Parkson on any questions or concerns, and he had addressed them. And then when we sat at the meeting, everything got taken care of that way. And now we're dealing with the wetlands here. We're not in the buffer zone. We're not, other than now we're gonna be moving some stuff that could be in the buffer zone.
So if we have questions, we should receive the drainage report and then the comments made to the planning board, that would satisfy us or
Any
you,
questions?
that you should probably review that and say, hey, there's some,
Well, I'm not a professional engineer.
neither am I.
So there's the option for peer review.
There is, but it's got to be triggered by some, that's the way
Well, I
we've
mean,
played
We're
it.
gonna have
That
a town
is,
engineer get a peer reviewed by another town engineer? How many engineers?
something's got to trigger it, and
I
some
mean,
things
we have
might warrant
Deshang.
it. It's-
We have Deshang, fine. I mean, but I'm saying, how many engineers do we need to take before we start questioning Deshang? We have to check, we want to question another one?
Okay.
I'm just saying, how
No,
much money do we
fine,
want?
that's fine, whatever you guys feel
I mean, the
is
purpose of the
fine.
open space subdivision is to protect the resource areas and by minimizing the area being developed. 2/3 of this property is going to be undeveloped.
So what did you go with the frontage? What's the frontage on the lots?
It's 30 acres, and we're only going to develop 21 of them. I mean, 21 of them is open
Which
space.
is just the street plus the 8 houses?
That's it, that's it.
Okay, so all of this around that is still considered open.
Well, no, this is open space, all
That'll be
this
their
here, all this
backyard.
here, all this here, all
And
this
this is
around
going,
here, all
my
this
right
around
on
here.
this is going to the town?
Yes,
Giving back to the town 20 acres?
21
all
21 acres. The only thing that's gonna be developed is the house lots and the road.
That's it.
Everything else is gonna be to the town.
Okay.
And really, there's nothing that can be done with that land, because it's all
Yeah, there's plenty that can be done with that land.
wetland?
With this land here?
No, I'm talking about the wetlands.
Oh, right, but I'm talking about the whole project, okay? There's plenty that you can do with that,
Up here?
the piece in between,
No,
the piece that's gonna be given to the town.
right.
Yes.
Which is-
Bob, put your laser
Right,
on it.
Bob,
I'll
explain.
see all of that right there? Okay, that's gonna become town land.
What can be done with it?
Okay, now, Bob, show the land that the town already owns.
I know what the town owns, I've been involved in
It's
this
up over there, it abuts
for
it.
7 years,
In the future,
yeah?
this is all
you could
town.
come off that cul-de-sac and put a road right through there to come in that other piece of property.
To get to the affordable housing?
Yes,
I've been told 3 times, and I was at town meeting last fall, and I was told, I asked Bill McHenry, oh no, we can't go in that way, we're gonna go in the other way. I mean, who's telling the truth here? And how, so then they can go in off the cul-de-sac and build more housing and build more whatever?
if somebody wanted to, they could present that
See,
plan.
you don't
Then it
tell
goes
lies.
before and gets decided.
People lie.
How much wetland is between the cul-de-sac and that other piece of property, Bob?
Well, it depends on which way you go.
Yeah, go up the hill.
There's none up in here.
I can answer the previous speaker's question. So the end of this cul-de-sac is going to be town-owned open space. It will be
Right.
a permanently restricted conservation restriction.
Right.
No further development
That's
will
what
happen.
we've been
What
told.
will happen is an easement for access to a well for once every 10-year maintenance kind of thing.
Well, where?
For this affordable housing, if that happens on the far side.
I've been told that's not gonna happen either.
Well, right, who knows, but they're putting the groundwork in place, I think, but you're
They
not.
are.
This project will end development of that cul-de-sac, that's it,
Correct.
and it's a CR.
So no road built to get into access to, for the,
The only person people
That'll
could
be on properties.
extend this road would be the town.
But my question is, and it's a very honest question, I mean, I never say, I've worked on this for 8 years, and I've been to a lot of different boards. The whole acreage, which was originally 70-some acreages. And I've worked with Bill McHenry about the affordable housing when he and I, 3 or 4 years ago, about we're gonna come in there and we're gonna put the $500,000 to put in these wells for the affordable housing. And then last fall, I was at the meeting, he's gonna do 99-bedroom development, which could be high rises, not individual houses, on 3 1/4 acres behind the highway department. If I'm wrong, somebody tell me, but this is, I stood up and talked. Oh,
All
yeah,
right,
so,
this is, right now, we are concentrating
I
on
know, I
this,
get
and we don't even know if that's ever gonna happen.
right, but I just think it's fair that people hear this.
And that, you're fine,
That
you're
this
right.
could be developed, that's all I'm saying.
No, it's, no, we just,
But it sounds like normal, that in open space, the land that goes to open space is permanently protected.
unless you go to legislature.
And then, right, sounds like this case, yes, it's permanently protected, but there's an easement for access
To a well.
well maintenance. Well, that is something that's.
That opens the door, that opens the door, doesn't it?
Well, could
That
that be a
doesn't it?
second egress?
There you go.
Emergency access, bada boom.
There you go.
But maybe that requires an act of legislature. And I'm okay with that.
Maybe.
Or a town
Oh,
meeting
yeah,
vote, or a
I mean,
two-thirds,
Anne has
whatever
a question, she has something to say, rather, she's the head of the open space,
knowledgeable.
so.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, hi, I was just gonna say that the 30 acres of open, or 21 acres of open space cannot be developed, and as Dan mentioned, that is an easement to the well, so there's no intention of developing the back part of that 52 Providence Street.
So the only thing that will be done is just be there for a well?
Yes, access to a well. Because of maintenance, you need to have access to it, so that's all that would be.
Need to drill it too.
Well, yeah, he had drilled it originally, but
Thank you. Go ahead. Please state your
Quick
name.
question for you, Ann.
State your name.
Bob Sweet, 50 Milton Street. Is it my understanding that that swale is supposed to be on the open space land that the town is getting?
No.
Yes.
The detention pond is on the open space property.
So if it's 4,800 square feet, isn't that taking 4,800 square feet of what the town would own and using it for the development's own personal use?
No. It's converting it to a use, but it's a settling basin, so it could still be considered open space. I mean, it has some values, but
There'll be
yeah.
an easement for that for maintenance too, right?
Yes, there
It
should
would
be.
have to be.
So
It won't
at
need
that
to be
point,
because-
isn't that taking away from what they're offering as open space? If they have to have an easement to maintenance it and they're taking all the
Well, I think
stormwater
it's
and
like
dumping it
Alfonso's, the
down
one
there?
that got built off of George Street, the detention pond is in the open space.
Right.
It can be done different ways, I don't know.
The town maintains this. Once the road is accepted by the town, they accept the roadway and all infrastructure, which means they accept the detention basin as well. So they maintain it anyways. So they don't, so normally it's on somebody's lot and you have to give an easement for the town so they can go on the lot to maintain it. This way we don't need it because it's on town-owned property.
Okay, so.
to answer the question, I think it is allowed to be on the open space, but it might be something that we want to change in the bylaw for the future.
Any other questions? So we're gonna, schedule a site walk. You're gonna do some upgrades to that. amend that-
Revise plan first and then
Yeah,
schedule
right,
the
that's what I'm saying.
site.
He's gonna amend the plan, design that catch basin, that leaching basin.
Yeah.
And then, let Emily know. We can schedule a site walk when you're ready. And you get a DEP number and we can continue this hearing until, when's the next meeting?
The 7th,
April 7th?
yes.
April 7th. You think you can have it ready by then?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Well, I don't know how fast DEP's moving. We had a project file over a month ago, and they still don't have a file number, so just depends.
So I'll make a motion to continue this until April 7th?
Yeah, and if
If we have to move it, we will.
If we have, yeah.
if I have to move it, I'll get you notice plenty of time.
Well, just because there's not a number issue, we can't continue.
Can't close it
Yeah.
in, right.
Right, so we can still continue the hearing just because there's no number issue.
Isn't it?
That never stopped us before.
Is it 4/7 or 4/4?
We could just keep moving along and get all our legwork done and then we can approve when the time is
Would like to see some, I think, Peter, you asked to see some of the drainage.
Yeah, maybe see the drainage report that was.
Drainage report was submitted with the notice of intent.
Okay.
He has one.
Copy of the drainage report was submitted.
I'm sure it's a big fat thing, so yeah, we must save some paper here, so.
Yeah, I mean,
Do we have some full-size prints?
Yes, we do.
I will second that motion to continue.
all in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next one is, what a fun one. That hearing was continued till, is it April 7th, right?
April 7th. How you been?
Good, how are you?
Good, good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. You got a notice of intent, no DEP number as of now, right? Nothing today. Filed by Goddard Consulting, representing Route 85 Realty Corporation. The project consists of construction of a parking lot, temporary construction road, one temporary and one permanent wetland crossing, and the relocation of an intermittent stream. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Let me just make sure all the board members are ready before you start.
Absolutely.
What's this gentleman's name?
First name, sir?
My name is Tom Schutz and I'm from Goddard Consulting.
Welcome, Tom.
Nice to meet you.
So just to, I know you guys were going over some other, this is 45, 49 Hartford Avenue. Everybody knows where that is, right? Yep. Hartford Ave. Number 45, 49.
Full size, anybody?
Mike, you want to see the full size?
Sure, let's lay him right out here.
I've been taking on this since I started.
Actually, DEP took over, but now we're back at it again. For this, oh no, this is a different, I'm sorry, this is not.
This is the hill across from me and fancy garage, right?
This is across from the,
From the lake.
from the marina.
Yeah.
This is okay, John. Thank you. I like to act like I can see. I'll be looking over your shoulder in a minute. So. Basically, this is to the left of the buildings that are there on the street.
Is he coming into town?
From Uxbridge, it'll be, if you're looking at the buildings from the street.
Yeah.
On the left, they're gonna go in there, and they're gonna go up behind.
Mike,
So
they were
that
moving
DEP's already worked.
They were moving that pipe that was running.
Yeah, remember there was
the
some,
warehouse or something
yeah, there was a
like
pipe that went through the warehouse, so they like it. So, anyway.
Good?
All right, everybody, we're gonna, hello?
Good evening.
Okay, everybody, we're gonna let them speak.
Good evening, John Menard. I'm here with Route 85 Realty, the Meehan Group. This is a project where the old Rad Skate Park was, across from the old Nipmuc Marina. It was approved through Planning Board about 2.5 years ago. I'm going to give you some history first on the site. This is the current existing conditions. Originally, in the back here of the Rad Skate Park, this wetland fed down to this lower wetland. There was a natural dam here, and when it overflowed, it flowed down. There was a pipe that connected from that outlet down to under the building, and dumped where this intermittent stream starts here. When we got up there and we started cleaning up, it was a very wet spring. We had some big, heavy rainstorms where The site flooded, came down, flooded Route 16. The water was coming down this slope and running through the building, about 2 or 3 inches of water. At that time, we went in and we fixed a culvert that was silted up across the driveway that has a outlet right on the side of the slope that empties into a depression in the wetland here and flows across the street into a detention basin. At the time, we had got an emergency, we had called the Conservation Commission, and they gave us permission to fix that. At the same time that we were working up here and cleaning up the site, we dug this pipe up. There was a concrete pipe that connected down and under, and we put a new pipe down so the water wouldn't flow through the thing. And then we got a cease and desist order from DEP for doing work within the buffer and disturbing that connection from the upper wetland to the lower wetland. So over the past 2 years, we've been working with DEP and Gary Dumaine. We did a supplemental environmental project for Lake Nipmunk for nitrogen levels in the lake and for fecal coliform bacteria, I believe, in the lake, some testing for there. We've also rebuilt this bank that connects this wetland to this wetland. That's shown now in the pink. That's the new intermittent stream that flows down into this lower wetland. So this site was approved through Planning Board. All the stormwater management was done and went to the town consultant, Graves Engineering, Jeff Walsh. The purpose of stormwater management and best management practices is specifically to protect, I know they were talking about it at the last item, but it's specifically designed to protect the wetlands. That's what it does. It takes out the suspended solids. Hopefully some of the nitrogen comes out of the stormwater before it gets into the wetlands. So that's all been reviewed already. And now we're trying to continue our work on the site. So all the work that has been done so far was work that was with Gary Dumaine from DEP. We put the drainage in on the top that was out of the 100-foot buffer, so the water wouldn't run down the road anymore. I hope people see an improvement on Route 16 down at the bottom of our driveway. There used to be a puddle that went about 3/4 of the way across the driveway down there full of silt. It should be all cleaned up now. We didn't do, there's a couple so let me go to the next sheet. So this is what we're proposing on the site now. So on this side of the site, the only thing we haven't done is these 2 catch basins at the bottom of the hill, because they're in the 100-foot buffer close to the wetlands. We have to get that approved through you guys. It goes into a drain manhole and into a water quality structure, and then that feeds into the street drainage system which empties across the street. Pretty much what we're here for is this section of the site, other than that little bit of drainage there. This site originally, this top section, some of this top section emptied down and spilled into this area of the parking lot. In the existing conditions, this is the main driveway for these buildings. So the water runs down, comes out into Route 16, and runs down and gets caught by these 3 catch basins. Originally, it had no TSS removal, no total suspended solid removal in any of that. It just, whatever silt was there, this was all gravel, just came down and ran down into the street. So what we're proposing is, this is the lower building. This is up probably a good 40, 45 feet in height. These buildings are all at about the same level in the lower parking lot. So we're proposing this parking lot here for these 3 buildings, basically. Right now, these 3 buildings don't have any parking in the lower area. They just have a little lot here with an entrance out here. So what we're proposing is this parking lot here. This new entry, we'll be closing up this entry. We would have a wetland crossing here with an open box culvert to cross it with no disturbance to the wetland that runs under the road. And we would end the pavement here. This would be a gravel road constructed just during construction, because this is all ledge. This whole piece is a big ledge outcrop that goes up maybe 25 or 30 feet. and this is all ledge in here. So we'd have to blast this area to level this area and blast this area to level this area. This entrance comes right through a ledge face that's shown on 16. So what we want to do is we want to work the back of the site and haul the stone out of here through this temporary road, so we can come out and come this way, and then the last thing we would blast would be the front entrance of the drive. What we're doing is we're collecting all the stormwater from the parking lots, sending it into an underground basin, and then emptying it into this the stream channel that empties into this lower wetland. It comes across the street and empties into the pond across our yard. Your yard, yeah. So the state has been doing a lot of work out here. They have copies of all our drainage plans. They're supposed to incorporate whatever drainage we're doing into, they're supposed to fix all this new drainage, just so you know. The state is doing a revamp of this section of Route 16, but honestly, it's probably about 5 years out before they would start work on it. But it is at the 25% design phase for the whole highway. I know this from another project we're working on. And we have plans further up at another site that are at the 75% design phase. So there is work being done on all of this drainage down here. They know there's a problem here, and they also know there's a problem here. So there is going to be some drainage fixed in Route 16 on both sides. So part of this project too, so when we were stopped by DEP, we had to rebuild this stream bed, and we didn't want to send it back to the corner of the building because it was flowing through the building. So they allowed us to come around and bring it like this lighter like pink line, and connect it with this lower intermittent stream where it always was. So at the time when we were working with DEP, they told us that we had to connect that there, and then once we were through that process and got that squared away with DEP, then we would be able to come back and come in front of Conservation and back to DEP to move this section around the parking lot and down and empty into it down here. So that's pretty much the impact we're going to have on the wets in this area. Is we're asking to move that intermittent stream down around our parking lot and empty it back into the stream channel here. So it empties here, which would allow us to get this parking lot in. This is Tom, he introduced himself already, Tom Schultz with Goddard Consulting.
Tom Schultz again from Goddard Consulting. And so just to give you a brief background, we have a BVW system up here. That's what this green section is here. If this intermittent stream that has been relocated under the enforcement order is now shown in this pink right here and flows down around this existing building. So we are proposing to relocate 240 linear feet of bank around the parking lot right here. And the existing stream channel is 234 linear feet. So we're going to be adding right around 6 linear feet of bank in this section as we wrap it around the parking lot. This is going to impact about 1,400 square feet of land under water body as well. But we'll be bringing that back as we replace the intermittent stream with right around 1,434 square feet of land under water body there. We have right around 184 more linear or square feet of land under water body impacts for our box culvert that's going down here, which is going to be our permanent wetland crossing. But that will be naturalized again as the stream continues to flow through there. That box culvert will allow it to have natural conditions and flow freely through it. And we have an openness ratio, and we follow all DEP regulations for those culverts. We are also proposing a temporary wetland crossing up here, and that'll just be a 24-inch corrugated pipe, and that will be removed after the temporary wetland or the temporary road is removed as well, and that will be brought back to a naturalized state. At this point, I would like to open it up to the commission for any questions from me or from John, and we will be happy to answer them.
The only thing that I wanted to see was an actual outline of how you comply with the stream crossing standards, because all you said in the report was we comply. So if you could actually go through and show how you comply.
Yeah,
And
so-
have it in written format and just submit it to me.
Yep, absolutely. We also have our planting plan here, which is another section of it. So we're proposing also to add 24 plants, 6 trees consisting of red maple and black birch. We also have 9 sweet pepper bushes and 9 high bush blueberries that we'll be planting in this, trying to bring it back to naturalized conditions and have those important wildlife habitat features that are important in a stream of this sorts.
Yeah, there wasn't much of a defined bank out there. It's more of like a leaf wash when it overflows, so there wasn't like a really channelized stream out there. When they flagged it, it was kind of like the leaves were pushed around. There was a small indentation in a couple spots, but it wasn't a real defined channel originally.
I heard the number 1,400 square feet underwater.
Yeah, land underwater bodies.
Well, that, to me, is 140 by 10 feet wide. That ain't no 10 feet wide, so even if it's 5 feet wide, it's 280 feet. I don't know, how long is the channel that you're building?
240 square or linear feet of bank. So that's not including the width of the channel itself. That's just the measurement of the length
Right,
of
so
the
I guess
bank.
my question is, what's the width of the channel, or what's the...
The current width of the channel out there is right around 5 feet, so it might increase a little bit by that. We'll have to kind of use the engineer's discretion on that.
Okay. When I looked at this originally, I said, why are you going to great lengths to build this haul road? Which now I'm understanding, okay, because you're going to be blasting, because you got to blast to put in the parking lot, right? That's
Correct, yeah.
That's the goal here. But that haul road, that's a lot of cutting and filling, and now I'm hearing it's a temporary road, and that once you're done, you're going to take it apart? Well, you're not going to change the grading that you've cut and filled. What are you going to throw grass seed down? I don't know.
Yeah, so we will, yeah, we'll stabilize that slope, we'll hydroseed it.
Well, it'll be a gravel. Yeah, what are you going to stabilize it?
No, we'll lumen seed it.
Lumen seed it.
Yeah, but I just wanted to let you know. So the reason we're doing this crossing and ending the road here is for access to our back land eventually if we decide to do something.
Well, that's what I'm seeing on this sheet. I'm seeing a tangential road that kind of goes off.
Yeah,
so
so-
it's like you're planning future phases for which this second access is nice. It's not just for the parking lot. It's also to create
Correct.
access.
Yeah, I'm not trying to hide anything. So that would be a tangential road that goes straight right here and continues into our upland in the back. We have no plans for that right now. We don't have any ideas for it. It's zoned residential up there. It's solid ledge. I don't even know if we could get testing up there. It might be suitable for a solar field or something like that eventually, but
Yeah, a heck of a hill to go up through.
yeah, so that's the only place we could do it and still get the correct slope that the town requires for any kind of a road, 8%.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Where does the spring come out? The bedrock ledge?
The spring?
So it's actually this BBW system up here. It doesn't come out of the bedrock at all. It just starts right here, and sometimes it's ponded based on the precipitation that the area has. I've seen it with water. I've seen it without water. I've seen the stream with water as well. So it kind of just flows. It's a small trickle. So if you go out there, you'll be able to see a little bit of water in the actual channel that has been rebuilt here. But at most times of the year, if you go out there, there's no actual water in it. But it does stem from this BBW up in the north of the property.
Could you go back to the cover sheet here?
Sure.
The big picture.
Yep, big picture.
Because Lake Nipmuc is very near and dear to our hearts, right?
Yep.
And we're all worried about the water and where it comes from. I would suggest that the vast majority is probably coming from these 3 streams that are coming off of that hill. So my question is, the big wetland up on the top of the hill,
Yeah, that goes this way.
well, where does it go? Because I live on Hartford Avenue, and I don't know how the stream gets over there. It doesn't.
Yes.
So where's the break?
These 2 wetlands are connected.
Yeah.
And I have seen this at so you can see the wetlands continue off our property here. I
you go
have
that way?
seen this in the spring. In fact, that one spring I was talking about, there's actually a cart path here and I've seen that overflowing over the road and running down a.
So you don't think it ever comes this way?
No, I know it does.
Well, there's also no connection between these two wetlands here. This is probably right around 250 feet between this. I don't know if you can see this blue line right here. That's the 100-foot buffer zone, and you can see on this one as well. And there's right around probably 50 feet to 75 feet between the two, and there's no connection between, because we went out and
This is the highest point on the site here, so everything from this side goes this way, and everything on this side goes this way.
Yeah, or some of it goes down into the ground, and then cracks go there, but it's, yeah.
Either way, you're not stopping the water from going into the lake.
We're gonna do a site walk, right? We'll walk back there.
Yeah.
And you'll see where it comes out of this wetland in the back here and heads.
But either way, you're not gonna stop the water from going into the lake.
No. We're just gonna, our detention
You're gonna have
basin
cleaner.
will clean it up, and it's gonna be better than it actually ever was, because this was an open site with gravel, and it just flew everywhere.
Yeah. No, I've seen,
there was-
I've seen the damage it's caused on 16
Yeah, like
years
there
ago.
was ruts in this road, and this road probably 2.5, 3 feet deep. Part of our work with DEP, we also cleaned up all the silt and junk down in this wetland area here. So we went in there with 5-gallon buckets. Tom did it, right? He
Yep.
dug about 6 or 8 inches.
we
of
must have
silt.
pulled out like at least 25 tires, just all kind of trash that had just been littered right off Route 16. We cleaned that up.
On the
Put in-
west side of the road, your side of the road, or the other
actually
side?
on the east side of this access
The
road
south
right
side.
here.
Yeah.
On the east side, but
Yeah,
north side of.
The east side, yeah.
In this wetland system right here.
Down in that hole.
Can we back up a little bit and
Sure.
talk some more about the drainage under the parking lot?
Yeah.
I'm looking on page 5 of 8,
Yep. I have it all here. I think it's all on this one.
and I think you've got some catch basins close to the road here.
Yep, over here.
Am I looking at this right? Everything's gonna pitch into this collection area here?
Yeah, so everything, so once we close this up and we berm this
Yeah.
water's all caught in this catch basin,
Uh-huh.
and everything is brought back and into the underground detention basin.
And where's it gonna go from there?
It comes out, the outlet comes out right here and empties right back into the stream bed right here.
Okay, so explains the open bottom?
Yeah, which is the open box culvert right here.
Right.
Which will span that stream, so we don't have to disturb that section
Okay.
of the stream.
I didn't see any details for that open bottom culvert. Next time you come in, can you bring me the
Sure, absolutely.
cut sheets on what, it's gonna be precast, I presume?
Yep, it'll be precast.
And, like, again, basically, whatever the builder's gonna have,
Yep,
the excavator to follow,
Okay.
I'd like to see,
okay, sure.
if there's gonna be footings there, et
Yep, there
cetera.
will be.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, if it's gonna be open bottom. It's gonna be horseshoe shaped, correct?
I will, yep, probably. Yeah, so I'll bring you a cut sheet and the details for the open box.
Right.
So, just correct me if, so, right now, there's catch basins on Route 16 that have very small sumps in them,
Yeah.
that go directly from that catch basin right into the lake.
Actually, I always thought that too, but they don't actually go right into the lake.
The ones on the east side there do though, right? Don't go to the right?
So coming here, there's a catch basin, here, actually 6, 7, and 8 flow this way.
And they
They
cross the
actually
street.
flow into this drain manhole, out into this like basin, and then there's a pipe that comes back out into this and then down. So I think the one on the easterly side,
Right.
I think flows right in and right
But,
there.
so you're gonna change that, and you're gonna capture all that water, and you're gonna clean it into that recharge system?
So we're capturing our water to the bottom of we're capturing our water to the bottom of the driveway.
Yeah.
With 2 catch basins. It'll go to a drain manhole, into a barracuda, water quality structure, and then it'll connect into the town drainage that goes, it basically just
Okay.
empties here and then comes back out and comes in.
What I'm trying to get at is you're cleaning that water a lot
Oh,
better
yeah,
than what it is
absolutely.
right now.
Yeah, I know, like, the first time, I had just kind of started here when that happened, and I went out there, this was within 3 months of owning the site, and there was a puddle that went almost curb to curb, and it was
Yeah.
absolutely drown with silt. I mean,
But we've had problems in the past where the end of the pipe in the lake was getting so overwhelmed with silt
Right.
because of the road grime, whatever. So this is gonna, what I'm getting at, this is gonna probably help the water quality that's going into the lake from the drainage.
Absolutely, and then during planning board, I had said if the Lake Association wants to permit the removal of the silt at those pipes, we'd be happy to supply the machine and the guys to get in there and clean out that silt.
Okay, thank you.
We have no problem doing that. I told the abutters that. I walked the properties with both abutters where their outlets are. I forgot your name, I'm sorry.
Karen.
Karen. So I walked it with Karen, and her pipe is, I believe, broken in the yard. I don't even think it connects all the way across.
No, it is broken.
It is broken, yeah. You can see it's so shallow that you can see the top of the pipe all the way through. It probably bubbles out now.
It bubbles out.
Yeah,
big time,
yeah,
yes.
so.
All right, Karen, I know you had a question, I'm sorry, but you want to go ahead and,
Well, I'm not an engineer, so I'm having a hard time following all this. But I do know that the pink line on the first map, on the first drawing, is a line that goes through my yard.
Yeah.
And that line collects water from a lower basin area.
Yep. Yeah, so that connects from, so I never got a good location of that, but I did get the invert. So the invert dumps into the pond right over here where the arrow is shown. But that connects across the road and then it goes through her yard and dumps into the pond right about
Right,
there.
which you did not mention a few minutes ago. You did
Oh, well.
not mention my yard.
That's why I just mentioned it.
That it goes through.
Yeah, it does go
There's a
through.
lot of water that goes through there from a depressed area across the street.
Yeah, that's this wetland here, and that collects the water from this upper wetland too, so that's all the water we're talking about.
And I might add that that's the area where you want to put the road.
Yeah, we're gonna go through the ledge. We have another small basin here that we're gonna do. We're gonna put catch basin at the end that'll slow any water coming from this little section of the road into that.
Now, does that give you a 25-foot distance from the wetland?
No, the basin would be closer than 25 feet.
Which is, it's law to be 25 feet away, is it not?
So because it's a crossing for our site for access to the back property, there's no way to do a crossing and stay 25 feet from the
Well, then it
site.
shouldn't be done.
It's legal through the Wetlands Protection Act to do a crossing to get access to your upland.
I think it's a lot of things that need to be considered by this board. I don't think you can just jump into it and say it's okay.
we're not.
No,
We're not.
no,
There's
they're
state
not.
guidelines that we all have to follow, and this is, we're here to protect the wetlands, but we have to still follow the guidelines that the state, there's rules and regulations that,
Yes,
and
there
if they comply with the rules and regulations, then we cannot stop people.
But what about the property owner where it impacts? That would be me.
Yeah, so we can't release any more water than it's already going to your site, and we can't release it any faster than it's already going to your site.
How do you know that?
So that's what all the stormwater calcs and drainage calcs that have been reviewed by the town consultant is for. So we've submitted our stormwater management report to the Conservation Commission, and that has been reviewed by the town consultant through planning board phase. That's what he reviews. He reviews to make sure that we are holding that water long enough so that you're not getting any more water. It's basically volume and time.
Well, I have a video from about a month ago.
Yeah.
We had heavy rains.
Yeah.
On top of snow.
Yep.
And I have tremendous amounts of water that are going through my property, in the pipe, and into the lake.
Right.
And I have the video on my phone now. I would be happy to show it.
Well, this might
No, I
even
believe it.
slow
I
it
think
down.
this would help.
This is probably,
This is gonna help more than it's gonna hurt. Right now, it's just running off of that site, and it's all running down there. This is more controlled. Once we put the parking lot and we berm this up, it's all gonna go through the detention basin, it's gonna slow it down, and it's gonna release it slower. Instead of being just a gush of water when the snow melts, it'll hold it longer and let it out slower. So that's one benefit to doing this. is it should take care of that big gush that you get when a snow, I know.
3 days.
Yeah, when the snow melted, I'm sure. That's when we had problems out here to begin with. It was it snow melt, we got a big rainstorm and the snow was melting and that's when we had problems up here. So we're gonna try to solve some of that stuff for all the abutters that are across the street. I know especially you and especially here. This is a state highway. We can't do any work in the state highway to the state highway drainage. If we would, I would offer it. Like, I don't have a problem doing that, but we just can't. So the state is in control of that. They are gonna take care of that. They're currently, like I said, they're at 25, almost at 50% design phase on this stretch of road.
But it's 5 years down the road.
So if you know the state, I don't know if you've ever, so if you deal with Mass Highway, it's a slow and tedious process they go through to get any improvements to a state highway. And then it has to get put in front of the state for funding, and it has to get put on the tip, and then once they get funding, then they'll do the work. So it doesn't go fast. I'm not trying to, it doesn't go fast.
So what happens if my property is impacted by whatever construction or blasting?
I have no, you know my number, I have no problem if.
Well, there's a pipe that runs through there that you say is broken in your property.
Yeah, it is.
So that's.
I believe it is because I get water.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
You can see the sections of concrete pipe, they're not even lined up anymore. You can,
Right.
if you walk
All right.
down through her yard, it's like this.
So is that an easement?
It is an
It is an
easement.
easement.
Okay, so that's a state,
Mass Highway.
easement. So if that pipe is not working correctly, then Mass Highway is the one that should be called on that.
Well, should the Conservation Commission do that job for me?
I don't know. We can help you. I mean, like, I had to call state representatives to get them to clean the sumps in front of Nipmuc Marine 8 years ago to get Mass Highway to move. They don't move, I mean, I agree with John. They do not move very quickly. We can try to help you as best we can,
Well, I
but.
have approached you before and not gotten any.
Well, it's not, you can't just snap a finger and get somebody to come out there and start fixing pipes. I mean, if,
No, it wasn't about fixing pipes, it was just about communication.
oh, well, I mean, there's some things that we can,
Like I sent all these plans to Mass Highway about 8-9 months ago. They were out there, they had surveys out there pulling the catch basins. I stopped and talked to the head surveyor that was out there. And then he hooked me up with one of the engineers, the state engineer, and he said, oh, any plans you have for any, so I sent them our plans for this, the dealerships, everything that we're planning on 16, I sent them plans for, so they could incorporate that into their new drainage design. So they've already have this, they already know what we're doing and how it's gonna impact their drainage, if it does impact their drainage, so they have all that to work with already.
Okay,
I just wanted to let you know that.
That is good news.
Yeah. So I did get them all that stuff already.
any other questions?
Just a
I
question.
have a question.
1 second, Ann. Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm Maureen Knoll, I'm at 48 Uxbridge Road. Informational, we don't know, you said you were going to block off the other driveway?
Yeah, this driveway will
Across
be
the street
closed.
from us.
Oh, that'll be closed.
Well, the buildings are going to stay?
Yeah, the buildings are gonna stay. So where that driveway goes up steep?
Yes.
We're gonna close that off at kind of the top of the hill there. We'll landscape that front section, and that'll be a curve across there, so that there won't be access up that road anymore. So all the traffic now, so we're designing this so in case we ever do anything up here, there'll only be one main entrance, other than the entrance that goes up to the rad ski pump. That'll stay, but
But the buildings on the street?
Yeah, they're staying.
Are still going to be there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why will you do that? Why are you blocking one driveway off?
So that's a very, very steep entrance, like
I
it.
was up there today.
Yeah, so,
Not too bad.
well, not this big one or this small one?
Oh, no, the big one.
Oh, no, that one's pretty good. That's the best that you could get that, with how steep that slope is. It uses up all the amount of slope going up and around. It's this, she's talking about right down in the front here. That driveway is very steep. If you go in there with a truck or any kind of vehicle that's a little bit longer, it bottoms out and it scrapes. Like we've had a couple buses get hung up there, where they're hung up in the front and the back, and their wheels are off the ground. And these buildings are already there with their slabs, so there's no way to lower the building, so we're just gonna eliminate that, and that allows us to come in this way, and this will be all pretty level in here, get into this lower parking lot now, so it eliminates that bad driveway.
So you're going to blast and then fill to,
Yeah, so we would be blasting this area, filling in this area here. We'd be blasting some in the back here and filling this area here. So it's basically a cut and fill to get that flat. And this parking lot will be level with the slab of this back building here. So it's a cut and fill. So we'll make this a flat area for the parking lot. So that's why we're blasting. We're gonna take off this mound. But during planning board, you'll see some grading up here. That's for a berm for you. We'll plant it with tall trees so you can't see that parking lot. We agreed to that during planning board stage. Yeah, you'll see the grading right here in the front. You'll see the blue circles that go up. Those don't go down, those go up. So that'll be an earthen berm, and we'll put 14 to 20 foot white spruce or something on top of that to block that for you. So you won't be able to see that parking lot. It'll be behind trees. The only thing you will see is the entrance.
Can I ask why there's development? I thought the business zone was 200 feet. So some of the existing buildings are in the RR zone. And some of this new parking lot you're building is in the RR zone.
Yeah, so
does that get a waiver or something, or do you?
No, so it was all pre-existing non-conforming, and we're putting the parking lot basically in front of the building. So it was a pre-existing non-conforming commercial use.
Which you are now expanding with the parking lot.
Yep. Yeah, we might have to go for a variance.
And you're talking about maybe something in the back? What would ever be allowable in the back without a zoning change?
I don't know. We don't have any ideas for it at all, not right now.
But you're building an in and an out.
Well, we're just building the one in. We're not.
Well, you already have the one in, and
so
you're.
We wanted to permit that crossing right there because we're doing all this work now to the stream and everything. I didn't want to have to come back and just for that crossing. So once we're past that crossing, when we do permit this, then that's one element of this wetland that it doesn't have to get disturbed again. If we ever do anything with it, like I said, I believe it's solid ledge up there. I don't know if you'd ever get a septic system up there for any kind of residential. I think what it would be best used for is a solar field, honestly. And then if that ever happened, I don't know, maybe we could get it rezoned.
So we're in the 25 feet for something we're not sure we would ever really use?
Well, yeah, that's true.
Well, you know, as time goes on, things change.
So, in Mass, the wetlands regulations allow you a crossing to get to your upland. That's basically our crossing to get to our upland back here. There's no other access to it that we could get a slope to work up the hill. So that's why we're doing the crossing in, and I thought we would just take care of it now, and then it doesn't have to be done later.
Well, your other access is off on the east side.
Yeah, but that's
two accesses, which is what you would want for a.
Yeah, but you couldn't do a road over here because of the steepness. So you got to have 8%, and this is the only place I could get 8% by stretching out the road like this. So I couldn't get a driveway over here at 8% or a road over here.
That's even if you're gonna, we don't even know if that's gonna actually be access to anything.
No.
Okay. So the concerned is the, well, like Ann Mazar has a question. Go ahead, Ann.
Hi, I'm glad you're trying to improve the stormwater drainage. There's been a concern about like the water draining into the Lake Nipmuc. And I think one thing that has to be considered and can't be ignored is that the hill that goes from that site down to Route 16 was clear cut and then covered with plastic and then put rocks on it. So there's no natural vegetation to absorb all that water that could come down the hill. And that would be the vegetation would be very helpful for absorbing and cleaning water that would come down the hill. And it's on the same property.
I believe part of this restoration, the stream, was was redoing that area. I can talk to that.
She's talking about the riprap slope on the
Talking about the stuff out front,
Oh,
Ann?
on the front, oh, over here.
Yes.
I mean,
I'm
that-
not really sure how that was allowed in the first place.
So, Gary Demine was okay with us rip-wrapping that, so I know, I think they put landscape paper there, I believe, with the stone on top of it. It's all solid ledge anyway, it was scraped pretty much clean, so it's rip-wrap on top of ledge. So no matter what you did there, you're still gonna get that runoff.
If you notice the size of the riprap they used a 6-inch minus. What that does is it slows down the velocity of the water that will not permeate into the ledge that's underneath there. So in order to slow down that velocity and not wash out any 6 to maybe a foot of material you would put on there to try to grow something, that gentleman
Yes, that's
thought
true.
best to put some riprap there to slow the velocity down. You collect the water, which actually cleans the water, and you send it on.
I mean, that was nothing crazy there
I
anyway. It was
believe
no-
that section has gotten much better since we've done the work there. Like, I don't think that puddle is there anymore with the silt in it. I think we've done a pretty good job on that side to take care of the problems that pre-existed before we even got the site.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Go ahead, Karen?
Speaking of that side,
Yeah.
I was up there today.
Yeah.
And there are 4 or 5 very deep depressions.
Going up to the cell tower.
That are full of water.
Yeah, those are settlement basins, that's exactly what they are. Those are little, they're like a water quality swale in the ledge. So the water that's collected up here goes into the first one, it settles out, and then it has you'll see there's like a berm. So there's one that collects water, so we don't have control over the cell tower. That piece is separate from our piece. So that still gets some erosion. So what we did is we cut in kind of a swale that goes into one little basin there, and then it flows into the second one, and we have a catch basin here that empties into the top one, and then each one it has a berm, and it flows over it into the next one, slows it down, settles out, and so by the time it crosses down here, you'll see a difference. It'll be really brown up at the top, and when it gets to the bottom one, it's fairly clean before it goes under the road.
Yeah, I couldn't tell that it was clean, but I could see that it was very wet.
Yeah.
Down at the bottom.
Yeah, so that's what those are designed for. Those are designed to slow the water down, let the silt settle out before it goes under this culvert and dumps down into the hill. So there was nothing like that out there before. It used to just all flow down into 16.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering if...
Just state your name and your address,
Sorry,
please.
Kathy Hackinson, 56 Oxford Road.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering, I know you're mentioning that the state has a plan, or
Yep.
a project planned for that area of Route 16. Does anybody know, are they gonna widen that any more than what, or to
So,
put like some of these
I have-
basins in, or?
I have a copy of the 25% design plans, and it's not a widening, it's more of a fixing the drainage, and then fixing some of the intersections. They'll be fixing the, so we're gonna be in front of the planning board shortly with a plan for where the driving range is, and planning board and Mass Highway is gonna put a rotary there in front of the driving range.
Yeah, I heard that, yeah.
So that'll help some of the traffic there, and then the next intersection down Maple Street where that bad fork is, they're gonna kind of bring that in at a 90-degree angle, instead of having, when you come up and you're trying to look behind you. I have some ideas that I'm running by our traffic engineer to run through with the state that would help Washington Street, help Maple Street. I don't know how involved the state wants to go, but I have, before Billy Rosino got sick, him and I were talking about different things that could be done at those intersections to help out those intersections, so.
So they're not gonna try to widen?
No, I don't believe so.
They're just gonna make bigger?
Yeah, they're gonna fix the drainage in there. The drainage is not big enough to handle the water that comes down 16. Further up the road on 16, the water goes right from the catch basins it dumps directly into the catch basins, directly into outfalls into the lake. No, there's no
Yeah,
water
there's
quality,
no cleaning
quality
there.
basins, there's nothing.
And then they don't clean the
silt
catch
just
basins.
goes, it's the same thing, yeah. So even in this area, there's very little, it doesn't meet current standards for cleaning the water and letting the silt settle out. So the silt just comes into the basins, flows into the lake. That's all it does. That's why you get those big sandbars in front of the outlets in the lake. And the state, that's what they're gonna fix. I believe that's what they're doing. They're doing a lot of the drainage and they're fixing some of the intersections.
One last thing.
Yeah.
When we went to the planning board meetings.
Yes.
You had mentioned the possibility of condos being developed up there.
Yeah, like I said, I've been up there more lately, and I don't think we can get any place for a septic system. So I don't know what's going to happen up there. It is zoned residential. There's no, Mendon doesn't have any condominium bylaws, so there's no way for it to go up and do condominiums unless you did a 40B or something like that.
And the purpose of the parking lot would be
Over here?
the one that you're proposing?
Yeah, that's because this building, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I believe, garage doors on that side.
Yeah.
So it would be access into that building so that we could rent that building out as a usable space.
Oh, so they're not being used right now?
So I think we have somebody in there that parks some of his cars and stuff and trucks, but they access through here, and it's just for storage right now.
Also, during the relocation of the stream, we're actually pretty close to the building itself right here because we had to bring it down to connect it back to where the original stream was. So it's probably only about 10 feet between the actual garage doors up in this section and the stream bank that we relocated at the original time during the enforcement order.
Just for clarification, where is that stream that's being relocated on?
You have your drawing? It's easier for me. Yeah, that's second page. So this is it right here. Connects this off the wetland. It empties right here.
We didn't schedule a sidewalk up there.
Yeah,
So what we're proposing is,
and get some stakes up and,
Put some stuff in there.
Yeah.
Then we'll just
Regular
continue this till the next meeting.
so it'll end up in the same stream bed.
Okay.
I'll have him get everything in, and then he can call Emily and we'll set up a date. He's got everything. So,
There's a question, Mr. Chairman, in the back?
yeah, 1 second.
Yeah, Peter Bennett, 66, next door neighbor.
Okay, there you go.
So, last,
Yes.
so with oversight,
They'll have a survey. They'll have a
Yes,
survey.
we'll have a pre-blast survey done like we did before. They'll come to your house, take pictures.
okay. Is that going to include, like, blasting can affect aquifers? Does that involve, like, testing our water before and then testing it after possibly?
You guys this is all well water, right?
All well water,
Yeah,
yeah.
so we're on a public water supply there too, so we would be concerned with that. We have a public water supply up here, but yes, if you want that done, we can have that done for you
Do we
guys.
have to pay?
No, we will take care of the testing.
That's important.
Well, it is, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, if you want that done, we'll take care of the testing.
Right, and any ledge that's disturbed.
Any damage to your house, I mean, they'll take
Yeah, so
video.
we'll have insurance on that, they'll come in and take photos of all your
I
of
know
the
you talked
atmosphere of
about
your
that, but
house,
also
yeah.
thinking about aquifer.
No, definitely.
Rearrangement, you know, all of a sudden well water is different, you know.
Right.
Yeah, so I can talk to each homeowner individually on that, and we can do some testing on the wells prior to blasting, pre-blasting and then post-blasting to make sure you're getting the same amount of water and the same quality of water. I'm fine with that.
Timeframe of all this happening?
We gotta get through planning board, we gotta get through conservation, and we gotta get through DEP's gonna review this. We don't have a number yet, so we gotta get through DEP. And then I think once we get our approval here, we actually have to go back and get our plan side through planning board, because part of their approval was that we had to get through conservation. And we'll get our plan signed, and then we would probably start as soon as we can get things scheduled. So, hopefully before maybe June, I would say, or around June.
There's gonna be another meeting anyway that you can attend, as we get closer to, approval or denial, whatever ends up happening. So I think at this point right now, we should probably schedule a site walk.
Yep.
Maybe you can get some stakes up there, kind of get, roughly give them an idea.
Yeah, I'll
Mike,
stake-
what would you like to see, Peter? Would you like to see anything special?
Well, where that road is, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll get the road stake to here, and I'll get the temporary roads.
The limits of the crossing.
Yep, limits of the crossing and the parking lot.
Yeah, I'd like to see where you're blasting as well, see what kind of fractures are already there.
Okay, so I would say, so what I'll do is I'll have them, I expect that we would be blasting up to the outside of the grading. So I'll have that outside of the grading staked. The limit of disturbance I'll have staked.
Okay, so the next meeting, when do you think that you can have, you don't want to see what you got and maybe touch base with Emily, or when you can get the stakes,
Yeah,
get
so
your points grade?
I should be able to get it staked by middle of next week, or by
Okay.
Thursday probably, I can get it all staked.
Okay, so,
Sometime in April.
I have a little pull at G&H, my brother's.
yeah, right.
And
All right,
it's
yeah,
still
you better have more pull than I do.
Yeah.
Maybe just let her know when it's done, and then she can get with the commissioners, we can set a date.
Okay.
Everybody's available to meet, probably on a weekend, I would assume.
A Saturday?
Something, Saturday morning or something, would that work for you?
Yeah, that's fine, yeah.
You had a question?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, how deep are you looking to go with the blasting? I mean,
So we will probably go, so we're gonna take out that front piece of ledge. So we don't have any structures in this front section, but we wanna take out this front section of ledge just for aesthetics. And then up here in the parking lot, it would be cuts probably from the top of the ledge, because the ledge is higher than the building in that area. We'd probably be going down about 25 feet in this area.
But not in the ground?
No.
No, it says, you have a
Well, because you're up high, so
Right.
we're gonna have to get down below the
You
parking
gotta
lot.
get down low to the.
Yeah,
right,
and
down
then
to the-
we'll have to be low enough for the detention basin. It's
Yeah, because that's 3-4 feet deep underneath the parking lot.
More
So
than
you
that,
got a
yeah.
couple feet between the
Right.
parking lot and top of
Right, and then
that,
we'd have
there's
stone
another-
underneath it, and
6-8
it's,
feet.
like, you can't blast just like 5 feet, because then it just doesn't work. So you have to go down probably a minimum of 10 or 12 feet before you blast. So it'll be a minimum of 10 or 12 feet. But it could be up to 25 on these high points and over here on the hill, probably maybe even on the hill.
and then what's that road? Is that still ledge that goes all the way around?
Yeah,
that?
so that's why this grading is here, and the silt fences along the grading is because I'm assuming that's ledge up there, and so that's what we'll have staked when we do the site walk. We'll have the limits of that staked.
So you'd have to do more blasting up in there?
Yeah, so we'll do blasting all the way up to here probably. Yep.
And a lot of trees will come down.
Up to the limit of disturbance, so, yeah. So
Well,
if you look at the plan, you'll see these blue lines. It'll be to the outside of those blue lines, up to this silt fence line, and then along this blue line right here.
That will disturb habitat, wetland
Well,
habitat.
Yeah, so some of this is already gone.
This is all that green
But all the-
in the road it's all gonna be gone, right?
Yes.
It's all gonna-
Yeah, so I don't think this section was, I know I colored it in, but I think that's already been disturbed. That's what we got in trouble for, so I don't think there's trees there anyway.
But you're also putting some trees back.
Yeah, we've already planted something.
But
Alright, so
you're not putting
we're gonna schedule,
habitat back, really.
No, it'll be loomed and seeded.
we're gonna continue,
Yeah, that's a whole different.
we're gonna continue this
Yeah.
until April 7th.
He's had his hand up.
Yep, I'm just gonna get this done and then we can take his question.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to continue.
I see you there, Bob. Go ahead.
I'll second that motion to continue the meeting.
Thank you.
Is
All in
this a
favor?
pointless question at that point?
Huh?
If you guys are already continuing the meeting, is it a pointless question?
No, continue.
No, absolutely not.
Any question you wanna throw at us, Bob?
My question is the wetlands up above?
Yeah, this one?
And that intermittent stream, or whichever you want to call it,
Yeah.
goes from that.
Yep.
Now, you want to relocate that stream, correct?
We want to relocate this lower section.
Now, Mendon has a 25-foot no disturb zone. So by relocating that, aren't you in that 25-foot no disturb zone?
So it's an intermittent stream, technically not a wetland, it's water on, body underwater.
Yeah, land under water bodies, and we're also affecting the bank of that. But we comply with the standards of the Wetland Protection Act for this, and this stream is going to actually increase the linear distance of that stream, the bank of the stream. So we're actually expanding how far it is now. And just a note that this has already been reconstructed here, so this is already a built stream.
Right, but was it done through any plan, or was it done?
Yeah, no, it was done through a plan with DEP.
So, you're gonna change all of that, and that's supposed to be all good. What is the state's specs on that? Does the state have guidelines for moving in?
Absolutely.
Yeah, they have guidelines under the Wetland Protection Act that we are complying with, and we're also adding some more habitat features with these trees. We're adding over 24 trees to this area here, so we're bringing this back to a naturalized condition. As right now, it's kind of just an open space with a couple of small shrubs along it. So we're trying to bring this back to actually a nicer area than it is right now.
And like I said, it's not, if you go out there, it's not like a real defined stream channel. It's more like leaf wash when it's flowing. And when you get a heavy rain and snow melt, it flows pretty good.
Have you done soil samples?
They did borings when they did
Did they come back as wetland soils?
Yes.
Yes, because this was a stream at one point, and then it got put into the tube, and then we rebuilt it during the.
Isn't it, if there's wetland soils, it's wetlands?
Well, it's an intermittent stream. It's not a bordering vegetated wetland. It's an intermittent stream which has different standards than the BVW does.
But Bob, your point is they're altering a wetland up to 5,000 square feet in order to take advantage of the development properties. We can't stop people. Well,
Is the disturbance over 5,000 square feet?
No, it's 1,400 square feet of land under water bodies, and it's only, I believe, 240 linear feet of bank. So we are under 5,000 square feet.
Because if it's 5,000 square feet, if it's, then a wildlife habitat evaluation, but I'm sure you know that.
Correct.
Now, one other question. When you close off the front driveway.
Yep.
Isn't there a building in the back that has doors that access that front driveway?
Yeah, so we're still leaving the parking lot around that side. We're just closing off up to the, so when that driveway comes up and then flattens off, so there's a door on that side, but there'll still be a parking lot there, but there'll be a curbing along the front of that. So that access now will come off of the access to that. So this is the driveway that we're closing up, and we're still leaving this parking lot here. So this will come up and there'll be access through
Okay,
here.
so you'll go behind the other building?
Yeah, to get to it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, so meeting's gonna be, hearing's gonna be continued till April 7th. And if you're not ready at that point, then we'll move to the next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Will we get a letter?
No, I would just probably keep an eye on April 7th, keep an eye on the,
Agenda.
on the town's website. And, you know, you might see something there that might be a continuation. If not, then if it's on the agenda for the 7th, just plan on, you know, that means we'll all be here. Thank you very much, guys, ladies.
So if our own bylaw is more restrictive than the state, does the state supersede?
I'll be right there.
We can't go in a wetland on a day that ends in Y, then Massachusetts is no.
Yeah.
And then they supersede, is that how that works?
What was that, I'm sorry?
So if our rules are stricter than Massachusetts,
Yep.
does Massachusetts rules supersede ours?
Massachusetts.
So like if we say you can't go near a wetland on a day that ends in Y,
Yep.
Massachusetts, yes, you can under these conditions. So they
State
overrule
guidelines.
us.
Well, no, we have a town bylaw. And our town bylaw usually supersedes the state guidelines.
Thank you.
Right?
I see your.
Pete?
Does it supersede?
No, I mean, I'm sorry, so
Who's the big cheese? Is it us or is it Massachusetts?
if we have a bylaw that says, we don't want you 10 feet, we don't want you 10
We
feet.
can, our local bylaw can be stronger than the state.
Yes.
So
That's
then
how it's
our
supposed
bylaw holds and the appeals.
to- Right.
The reason why I ask is because this mentions intermittent says one of the resources that we're protecting, and then he's saying Massachusetts lets him upload intermittent, for lack of a better term. So like, how does that work?
Do we have any other business, or?
No, we gotta do it. I think we got everything, right?
It's everything.
So it said isolated wetland and banks or intermittent streams, and that is 3-point area subject to protection.
What's this here, 47 Milford Street?
So, how does that work? 'Cause it looks like our bylaw covers both isolated banks and intermittents.
I don't know.
Not this.
Signals.
Not that.
I know, but there's another piece.
This is actually the first time I've taken the time to read through this.
Where did that, what, she have that in there?
I said was not familiar with it. I think Emily might have given me a copy because I said I don't think I ever read
Looks
the
like she's a
copy.
little cranky.
So, who'd you say we talked to about this?
I want to talk to Mike about it. She's friggin', she called me friggin' like a million times about it's in her yard for the friggin' that goes from, yeah, I what the fuck you want me to do about it? She said there's no communication. What the fuck? Like I said, we had to call John Fernandez to get him to clean the sumps out.
Yeah, no, it's
Remember that?
It's a political thing. It's
Oh
not
my
a-
God. I mean, and that, we still had a hard, they said, well, we can't get a jet truck down here. Anyway, you got friggin', Mass DOT's got friggin',
Do you adjourn?
motion to adjourn?
Not yet.
I'll second that motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion, I'll second.
I was wondering, like,
No,
are
second.
you
All in
like,
favor?
going on?
Aye.
This-